Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at SoFi technologies. It is time for another update, and today we will be discussing the fifth wave to the upside that we still expect to be forming in this area in actually both interpretations here on the chart. Now we are tracking here a possible impulse to be forming, but we are also aware of the yellow scenario where we would be actually unfolding within a larger leading diagonal. I have to say right now, based on the broader market sentiment, I find it probably preferred and more likely that we are going to develop within the yellow scenario. Although, if we manage to get here to around the $40 level, we have enough of a structure to the upside, enough of an extension here within this movement that it could easily be classified as an actual wave 3, allowing us to continue to track a possible impulse forming to the upside, or over the longer time frame we would expect several additional highs within the white interpretation, within the impulse. Now, with that said, we can go here quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new, and here we are in the white scenario tracking a double 1-2-1-2 setup, where this would be another 1-2, and we are now looking for the third wave to the upside to be forming. Now, in this interpretation, in this structure, we are tracking an identical pattern with what we would be tracking in the yellow scenario as well, except from a larger perspective. In the yellow scenario, instead, here we have an ABC structure in a singular wave 1 up here. Then we have our wave 2 correction, and this is the third wave where we expect a more significant and major top here within this wave 3 once we have our next high. And within this structure, again, we are looking for an ABC movement to the upside, and that is mainly why we are looking for the same structure, because in the white scenario this would be a wave 3, in the yellow scenario it would be a wave C. In both interpretations we are tracking an impulse, and in both interpretations we are looking for the same developments. Now, internally within this area, within this structure, we have been tracking this movement to the upside in yellow internally, but it is applied also to the white scenario. There is no difference between what we have here in yellow, in this area, and what would be tracked here in the third wave to the upside in white. I believe I even mentioned this in the previous video, but well, I didn't get to actually modifying the colors. I promise I will do that for the next video instead. And here within this structure we have a wave 1 up here, a wave 2 down, and then this would be the third wave up. In this scenario, we could allow even further extensions to the upside, where this could be a series of 1-2 setups. Not my preferred scenario. I actually do heavily prefer that this is just a singular 1-2, but then anyway, in either case, we would be looking here for the wave 4 correction, where I would be looking for support at the levels between the $26.1 all the way down to the $20.4 level. So far so good. We have pushed into the area of support, and it seems since the previous video we had another attempt to push higher, but I really am only considering this movement to the upside as an overshoot here in the wave B. And I have to say, from a pattern perspective, this has enough waves to easily be considered an ABC structure complete, and I don't need any additional lows to form here within this wave 4. Not only that, we have even extended quite deep enough within the correction, and we have quite a nicely proportioned wave 4 pattern. And it is possible for the third wave top to be considered here. Doesn't matter exactly which pattern it is. Right now we are looking from a larger perspective, and we are focusing on the levels. So if you were following this channel, we provided you this area of support long before we have even formed this additional top. We were looking for this area of support, a retracement into it, and for the reversal that is now starting to the upside to happen afterwards. We were looking for another wave to the upside for quite a while now, even before we formed this additional fifth wave. We were looking for a possible start of the larger retracement in the wave 4, but that was if we didn't manage to form an additional high, which we did, and that is fine. That is perfectly fine. We were tracking this idea that we could extend higher, but it wasn't necessarily a high probability trade setup, because in this area we were tracking an ending diagonal within the wave 5 of this larger wave 3. Now we can even remove these internal counts. We don't really need them too much anymore, and we can focus solely on this reversal to the upside. We again, within this wave 4, we are tracking something like an ABC, perfectly available to us, perfectly fine. But now from this local bottom, from this current low within the wave 4, we are looking once again for a 5-wave move to the upside. Now again, since it is a 5th wave, it could develop once more as an ending diagonal, but so far it does seem to actually have the structure of an impulse. I would, however, still prefer an additional high, if not maybe even a two additional highs within this area, to have a clear full 5-wave pattern to the upside, but there is no guarantee that we will get them. And if we were to have already topped within this area, we could even already start looking for the correction here in the wave 2. Not necessarily my preferred interpretation. I would once again like to still see additional highs, and we will be tracking smaller time frame area of support, but remember, it is on a very small time frame, and they are quite unpredictable at times, and they do shift and morph all the time. So it is generally not the preferred area to look for trades, and it is more for us to be tracking the pattern to the upside. Yeah. Now, from a large time frame perspective, sure, if we were to look here for the wave 4 correction, this was a highly regarded area of support. We were looking with high probabilities to the upside for another 5th wave, since it was an interpretation that we were tracking in both scenarios. Even in the more bearish scenario in yellow, we were tracking an additional high. So this was a well-regarded area of support. But in the shorter time frame here, yeah, what can we really be tracking with high probability in maybe an extension here higher within this 5th wave of an internal wave 3? Well, again, not too well regarded, at least not by me. Now, if we are to look for the wave 2 correction area, I would be watching at the levels between the $27 all the way down to the $24.7 level. As long as we hold here the 78.6% retracement, we still have a good chance of continuing our uptrend in this 5th wave. Now, since we know that this is expected to be a 5-wave move, we can already look for a top here within the wave 3. But yeah, I want to make it clear, so I will repeat myself. I would prefer still further extensions higher within this wave 1. It is not necessarily the prettiest looking count. In fact, if we were to actually top here, I would probably rather consider this a three-wave pattern to the upside. But again, this movement to the upside, this larger wave 5, could develop as an ending diagonal. With that said, within this structure, what I am tracking is here probably a 1-2 setup, then this would be the 3rd wave up, where even within this wave 3 I would prefer maybe one more high, but yeah, we have already extended in our retracement here quite largely, and I'm not too confident that we will get another internal high within this structure. So I will be tracking solely this large area of support for the wave 4 correction. Now we can be tracking this, let's say, in the blue scenario, where I am looking for support and for an extension higher at the $28 level all the way down to, starting at the $28 level all the way down to the $26.8 level, where if we break here below the 50% retracement, it would be actually quite a good signal that this structure is not going to extend itself any higher, and we should be preparing for the deeper retracement in wave 2. Now keep in mind, from a large time frame perspective, we do need to be aware that this is a 5-wave structure to the downside, which is why it is preferred for us to also be tracking this as an ABC. Yeah, this would allow a full correction, but we need to be mindful that this overall wave 4 could easily extend, and we need to be aware of the resistance levels. In that case, I will be watching out for a possible wave B top and its relevant resistance levels between the $26.7 all the way up to the $30.5 level. So far, we have gotten just above the 61.8% retracement, and again, I do prefer to have already bottomed. I'm not necessarily looking with the highest inclination for an additional low within this area, a reset within this wave 4 in yellow, but it is something we need to be aware of, and these are the levels that are likely, rather than other levels, to provide difficulties in creating this movement to the upside. And for now, you have all the levels of support, all the levels of resistance that I believe are significant right now. And yeah, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.